Booker Brown at Radio Memphis there. Don't get your meat where you make your bread. Ahead of that, it was Soul Man Snipes with Southern Girl here on this Tuesday. It's the 29th of March, 20 minutes past the hour. Last week, we were talking about how Kim Jong Un, and his haircut are worked up about how everybody's talking about Russia and not him.
Right. Oh, did you see the video they put out last week?
Yes, I did. The that whole Top Gun looking thing with the leather jacket and stuff.
And the slow-mo.
Like he was some sort of a movie star.
Yes.
It looked really ridiculous.
And they're looking at their watches and taking off their glasses.
And then you see the rocket kind of take off. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was silly.
That's a sickness.
Well, yeah. He's a despot.
I mean,
there's a lot of guys that have that. Putin's one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So's Trump.
Oh, yeah.
They're all. That's why they all like each other.
I know.
And yeah, Kim Jong Un has been upset that everybody in the world is not talking about him.
Right.
So he's been doing his thing. He's not the only one, you see.
Yeah.
There's some other people that are a little jealous of the lack of attention that they're getting. That would be the Taliban.
Oh, what are they doing? They're throwing a party.
A few things that they're kind of upset about. First of all, they want to be more brutal. So they had a big meeting.
What, a brute fest? What?
I don't know what they're doing.
The Taliban brute fest.
I just imagine a bunch of these guys sitting around a long conference table go, what are we going to do to get ourselves back into the... we need to step up the brutality. It's like Mel Brooks is directing
this, exactly. That's exactly what I picture.
And not to be outdone by that, they had a big meeting, and now they've come to this conclusion.
Yes.
That they're instructing all of their government employees there with the Taliban to wear a beard and adhere to a dress code or risk being fired.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the way it goes in a workplace?
Well,
you have to go by the dress code.
I don't know about the beard and all.
Well,
they don't want them wearing tennis shoes and shit, blue jeans to their government job. That's not Casual Friday over there.
No.
Representatives from the Ministry of the Propagation of Virtue and Prevention of Vice, I bet they're a fun hang, were patrolling the entrances to government offices yesterday to check that employees were in compliance with the new rules. According to the sources, quote, employees were being instructed not to shave their beards and to wear local clothing consisting of a long, loose top and trousers and a hat or turban.
Right.
They were also told to ensure that they prayed at the correct times. Because, God...
That's right.
He's got a schedule to maintain.
He does have a schedule.
Workers were told that they would now on be unable to enter offices and would eventually be fired if they did not meet the dress code. Well, I guess that beats getting out having your head cut off.
Well, we don't know that that's not the firing.
Well, yeah, they define firing a little
differently than we do, maybe.
Last week, the Taliban banned women from taking flights without a male chaperone and failed to open girls' schools as promised. The Taliban administration has drawn criticism at home and from Western governments for forcing its hardline interpretation of Islamic law onto all Afghans.
I find it really odd that people in this country are so against Sharia law and the way they treat women over there.
Yeah.
Yet they'll tell a woman she can't get an abortion over here.
Well,
I'm like, why are you bitching about Sharia law?
Because that's what they do.
When you're talking about the treatment of these women over here not having any rights.
They're like, we don't want Sharia law, but we want eye for an eye and, that kind of stuff.
Right,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the Taliban has drawn criticism at home and from Western governments for forcing its hardline on the rest of the people that live there.
Right.
Yet, over the weekend, it ordered parks to be segregated by sex, with women allowed to enter 3 days a week and men the other 4 days, including the weekend, meaning even married couples and families cannot visit together. That's Disneyland.
That makes zero sense.
No, it's not.
Families can't go out together.
No, I can't have that. That's not Disneyland. That's America. The Taliban administration has drawn criticism at home from Western governments for all of this, as well as just how comedically stupid they are.
Well, yeah.
You must have a beard. You got to wear the appropriate clothing. I get it. They have a dress code. Okay, that's all well and good. It's just that they keep rattling their sabers.
Their sabers just a bit. Yeah.
And because, Russia.
Russia. Everybody just talks about Russia.
Uh-huh. I know.
Oh, wow. We got to get a bit tougher. You know what? Why don't we threaten to fire them? Ooh, that'll teach them.
That'll teach them.
Okay.
That will teach them.
Mm-hmm. That's tough.
That is tough.
That's tough.
It's very tough.
So, does that mean, what does Casual Friday look like around there?
There is no Casual Friday.
Well, that all seems pretty casual, though. Their clothing?
It's pretty casual, all right. Well, it's indigenous to the land.
It is, but it looks quite comfortable.
It probably is.
Yeah.
But you got to have the beard. You got to do all of that. And there's a lot of guys that are like, I want to wear shorts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't do
cargo
that.
shorts. Can they do
This beard itches.
Yeah. It's too hot for this.
Yeah.
No.
Why do I have to wear a hat?
Right. It's not even cold out here.
I know, right? Don't park your camel there.
Oh, they have assigned camel spots.
I'm sure they do. I wonder if they have like a break room in their offices. I mean, what do they serve in their vending machines there? I don't know if they have vending machines. They barely have electricity.
Yeah, they may not. I doubt they do.
They're basically in the Stone Age.
Yeah. I wonder how they're existing over there.
Since
they don't have any money.
I don't know. Yeah, all their money's been absconded with, and there's whatever money that's floating around in the country right now is probably
worthless.
It's worthless, unless the government decides to mint its own stuff, and even that takes a long time to ramp that up.
Well, I should just hand out pads and pens to everybody, and just say, "You need some money? Just write it on here." That's basically,
I guess, that's
what everybody's doing anyway.
I don't know how all that
making it
works.
up as you go along.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that must be like. I mean, the former finance minister is driving for Uber, so
right.
That's
well,
clearly there's some sort of money of some sort because
there's an Uber.
If there's a demand for Uber, I guess. I don't know, because I guess Uber's based here in the States. So money is having to transfer back and forth. So there's some sort of an economy there.
There's an economy there. I don't know how it's working, though.
Well, clearly it's working enough.
Same as Russia. I'm not sure how they're existing. I don't know how things are going over there.
Yeah, that's a whole different deal there.
It is. But I still just don't understand how that's working in either place. They, seized all the money.
Yeah.
From the Taliban. Mm-hmm.
Or most of it.
Most of it, right. And they did the same thing to Russia. They seized what they could.
Sure.
And shut off everything else. And
yeah.
I don't know how these places are continuing.
A lot of, back to Russia, for example, there's been a lot of deals in play to find alternate sources for natural gas and petroleum and all those products. And there's enough of that in play now that Russia's effectively cut off from the entire world when it comes to the sale of petroleum. And they have a bit of petroleum there.
Yeah.
But some of the other countries that we're dealing with them are not.
Right.
No.
And I mean, it's cut. What did I see the other day about? They were threatening to cut off oil to places in Europe, and some of the places in Europe were like, "We're thinking about not buying from you, so don't worry about it."
They did that. They did say that we're thinking about not doing it because eventually there were other sources that just popped up, and the markets opened up some.
Yeah, and places in Europe are going, well, we really don't want to buy any.
Production has not stopped. So what will probably happen is that once this is all over, which it is, whether assuming there's not a nuclear catastrophe.
Right.
Once this does come to some sort of a diplomatic end and Russia is reestablished in some way, shape, or form, there's going to be a glut of petroleum that'll be flooding the market.
Oh, the market, yes.
There really will be.
Yes, there will be.
And I don't think the Middle East is going to be too pleased with this, but because business has been pretty good for Saudi Arabia these days, because there have been other countries that are dealing with them instead of Russia. But at the same time, they're not putting up with any shenanigans with Saudi Arabians over this thing. Because you have these other oil producing countries, the United States being one of them.
Yes.
There's still some talk that here in the U.S. they may open up more of the strategic reserves,
right,
and then do a tax break, fuel tax break on a federal level. Which, when you look at that, the way that is, it's basically nothing. The federal taxes on fuel is kind of nothing.
Right.
It's the state taxes that are insane. They are very, very high. So there's going to be this kind of a push from the federal level for the states
to cut. Right.
Let's just do this for about a week. You're not going to lose any real money over this whole deal,
or maybe a month.
I don't know. A lot of this is going to hinge on what happens over there,
right.
And if there is a satisfying conclusion to all of this, and let's just say hypothetically that there is a regime change, and Russia begins to rebuild itself, and then the rest of the West loosens up the sanctions a little bit to help them get their shit back together.
Right.
And then Ukraine gets rebuilt. Then everybody becomes one big happy marketplace again, and so things will start to balance out a little bit more.
Well,
we'll see.
Here's a thought I had. Because of Biden's statements over the weekend saying Putin is a man that doesn't need to remain in power.
Right.
Well, we've been, and news people have been speculating.
Yes.
Somebody from the inside might take him down.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that may have just been the catalyst for somebody in there to set a plan for it.
Well, I think that was part of the end goal, if you will.
Yeah.
To put these sanctions in place so the inside will be fired up enough to do something about their problem.
Right. And overtake their crazy president.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but at the same time, you're hearing stories about how that is not the plan, but you don't know the source of that.
Right.
You don't really know what's going on in there. There has been enough supply of materials and things for the Russians to live their lives.
Yeah.
Up until now, because it's starting to really, this has only been going on for just over a month. So,
right.
It's going to take a little bit of time for everything to kind of pile up on the population of Russia. Eventually, there's going to be a point where there's just nothing.
Right.
I mean, nothing.
Right.
The stores will be
empty. Right.
There will be no other support for this, that, or the other. Even on Russian-made goods, the cost of which is going to be prohibitive. Because the money's not worth.
The money's not worth. Yeah,
and it can't be exchanged within its own boundaries very well. As far as I don't know, and I'm no political scientist when it comes to this kind of thing, but there has to be a breaking point inside that will occur.
Right,
and it's not going to be forced elections.
I can't believe no, but I can't believe it hasn't happened already. I realize we've only been here for a month. But wow, it's been one hell of a month.
It has.
And it really seems like somebody would be fed up. And
there's a lot of fed up people.
And
they've had enough
put a bullet in his head.
But
poison his tea.
Yeah, but this is a guy who, Putin, who fired his staff and rehired some other people. He's got food tasters, He's protecting himself.
I wonder if somebody could pay one of the food tasters in something not rubles to just.
How do you get it in?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You cannot get it because now even Russia said we're not granting visas to come into the country, and most of the world's like, okay, so
yeah.
There's still Americans there that can't get out,
right,
for whatever reason. But eventually, it's going to come to a point where the people are going to go, they've already been protesting. I mean, and they still are protesting. Yeah. But you got to get to the root of the problem, and there's a logistical issue here is, what are you going to do? Storm the building where everything is taking place and, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Because that's not going to work.
Well,
I mean, you could try.
Russia's a big country.
More people might actually do that in this case. I think they'd have more supporters for that.
Well, the Russian military isn't supportive of the whole thing either because we've heard those stories.
Right.
And 75% of the Russian military is committed to Ukraine right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yes.
Physically.
That's what I mean. Yeah, physically, 75% of his military on paper is committed to Ukraine.
Right.
I mean, I'm not talking about what's actually happening on the ground. But,
no, I know.
But there are people there. 75% of people, their military is there.
Right. And that may change.
They have.
Some of them are not committed anymore.
A lot of them aren't. The Russian Navy has an aircraft carrier. It's currently in a dock being refitted. It's got problems. It's had problems since the day it was made. It doesn't work. They don't have what we all thought they had. Their Navy is a pitiful wreck. I don't even know that they even have an Air Force that's worth even talking about.
I'm convinced he just didn't keep up his military.
He pocketed all that money.
Correct.
Money that was budgeted toward the military was never spent on that.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't kept up.
No, it was not. Which makes you wonder about all the other things that were not kept up. Yeah. I'm thinking nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the hope. Now, I'm sure the Pentagon's thinking the same thing. It's like, well, he's going to keep waving that around.
Yeah. Push the button and it just goes off right there in the hole.
He pushes the button and it sounds like this. You're kind of boned.